Good afternoon and welcome to the last match of the day of the season. And what drama we have for you. In the north, our main winner-takes-all game, perhaps the most dramatic we've seen, is between Manchester City and Luton.
Here's Horton, wide of him is Kurt Stevens. That's his effort. Oh, it's come off Reed on the crossbar.
In the south, we find out how Birmingham's annual Avoid Relegation campaign finishes at Southampton.
Right again! Good save by Tony Coton.
In Scotland, we see the goals by which Dundee United beat their neighbours out of doors and the celebrations that followed that historic victory.
And I must say, I don't think I've seen scenes like this in Dundee before, a jam-packed crowd.
It's also your last chance to enter the Goal of the Season competition.
Today's main news, the Football League will hold an emergency meeting tomorrow afternoon to decide whether Derby's 1-0 win against Fulham yesterday should stand or be replayed. Fulham manager Malcolm McDonald believes the league now have no option but to order a replay after the referee admitted he'd blown early. While Gordon Milne, manager of Leicester City, who thought they'd pipped Fulham for promotion, thinks that common sense should prevail. The question being, could Fulham have scored the 2 goals they needed in the 1 minute 18 seconds that remained?
Well, had injuries not finally taken the sting out of Southampton's brave late challenge for Europe, we might have been visiting the Dell for other reasons. But it was the visitors, Birmingham City, who were newsworthy, having all but rescued themselves from the relegation graveyard once again. It would take 4 Southampton goals at least to put them down. Commentator Barry Davis.
Rod Saunders has the luxury of being able to look down without becoming too giddy. But his last team of the season, which contains only 2 players who played in the first, includes an extra defender just in case. He's 18-year-old Martin Kuhl, who gets his second appearance and replaces the injured forward Mick Hulsell. Saunders, in fact, has used 30 players during the course of this season, and only Harford and Van den Hauwe played in that opening match. Southampton go into their last game concerned only with their own performance. They've fallen out of the top 6, and they want to make sure that they end the season with a bang and remind people how well they recovered from an indifferent start. And their player of the year this season is 19-year-old Mark Wright, who got the award both from the coupons in the home programme and indeed from the travel club of away supporters. Birmingham, with their usual staunch support, 3,000 of them have come down, making it the biggest away team representation of the season here at the Dell. And Birmingham defending the goal to our left. Mick Harford with the first challenge with Nick Holmes. It's really a pleasant afternoon, plenty of sunshine. Noel Blake deciding to leave it. And it's won by Nicol. Here's Armstrong. Harford gets his foot in. Williams. Here's Robert Hopkins. Taking on Agboola. And the referee this afternoon is Dennis Hedges, who comes from Oxford. Well watched by Blake. Off Hagen for a Southampton throw. Right, put out by Dennis for the corner. Wallace, Holmes. Oh, I say, the goalkeeper could never have seen it. And deflected for the corner. Holmes, who tried for the corner and got the deflection off Hagen, I think. Certainly a Birmingham leg. Coton coming for it. There was a foul in front of him anyway. Byron Stevenson moving out, and the verdict in his favour. But it's a more open game than one might have imagined. It's nicely done, and decides is offside. Blake. But he's made the roof. And the opening quarter of an hour has not produced a goal. Southampton with the free kick. For which Nicol is coming forward, number 5. 6 is right. Well saved by Coton. The header came from Moran. Really good save by Tony Coton. It's right at the foot of the post, and he got down sharply indeed. Right again. Good save by Tony Coton. Couple of really fine saves by him. First from Moran, and that one from Mark Wright with the tip over the top. Holmes spinning a lot. Goalkeeper was fouled. Robert Hopkins. Hagan. Asked a lot. Played by Wallace. And still, Armstrong has a shooting chance. Good save and a bit of fortune at the end. The move started and continued by Danny Wallace. And just when people were looking for the ball to the far side, he was aware of the presence of David Armstrong, whose shot was initially well saved, but the ball ran away a little kindly for the goalkeeper. Harford there before Nicol, which was as well for Birmingham. Dennis. Check of the watch by Mr. Hedges. And we reach half-time with a blank score sheet, with 2 brilliant saves by Tony Coton, having further ensured Birmingham's place in the First Division. He applauds the supporters, who in turn will applaud him. The service to the sightless and partially sightless provided by the hospital radio. All the half-time scores there going through in the headphones. Well, just a month ago, Birmingham were in bottom place in the First Division, 6 points below the cut-off line, having lost 3-1 at Luton. But since then, 4 wins and a draw have brought them almost fully to safety. And now they have just 44.5 minutes to survive further. And Southampton will want to end the season with a victory. Since they beat Liverpool here when we saw them on Match of the Day, they've drawn 2 and lost 2, the 2 defeats being in their last 2 matches, and thereby lost their chance of playing in Europe next season. Side foot from Puckett. And Lloyd McManamy with a smile, coming to his seat for the last time this season after signing the autograph. Hopkins. That's a good try and a good save. Chilton making a good diving save across his goal. Punch by the keeper. And the sides. Goal kick. Yes, Chilton has a point, which he makes to the referee. There was certainly an arm up in his face when he came for the punch. Southampton to make their substitution, to bring on 18-year-old Ian Baird for his 11th appearance of the season. And the substitution is predictable in that David Puckett, simply in terms of position, is the player replaced. Armstrong got there before Phillips. Wallace, Williams rather. Here's Wallace, let's get those 2 right. Don't exactly look alike. And a free kick for a rather wild, rather silly challenge by Mick Harford. And Mills is unmarked. And Tony Coton rescues his side again. Certainly was struck hard enough by Mills, but Coton, who'd advanced to meet him, turned it over. Mills can't believe either the fact that he was in so much space or the further fact that he didn't make full use of it. Wallace is still available. And here's Williams, number 4. White following in, Blake puts it away. McBuller. Baird, that's on for Armstrong. Oh, he was pushed. Well, I must say, it looked to me as though Hagan got a push in on him, but the referee thought otherwise. And in fairness to the official, there were few appeals from Southampton players. But it was a rather hasty movement by Hagan, for which he might have paid. Southampton still looking for the 60-point mark, which they get from a victory here. Holmes. He struck it well, but it came straight off Stevenson. Vanden Hauwe running on. Well, Birmingham got men over if he can cross the ball. Oh, great save, but Harper puts it in. The initial save was from Hopkins, and he did so well to get there, but Harper following up gives Birmingham the lead with 3 minutes remaining. There was never any question in the second half about Birmingham being in any fear of relegation, but now they're going to escape with the points too. And Birmingham supporters all over the pitch. 1 or 2 Southampton supporters at the other end have also decided to get over the barrier. McManamy goes to the Southampton end to persuade his supporters to return over the wall. And at the other end, the Birmingham supporters are in their own end and just happy to chant. So the match restarts, and Southampton have about 8 minutes to save themselves, the stoppage having lasted for 5. Lauren McMenemy has certainly done the trick in a very calm, confident and composed manner. White. Wallace. Mills. It went through his legs for a second, but he was able to sit on the ball and grab it. And twice McMills has seen the goal yawning in front of him. On neither occasion has he been able to bulge the ball into the net. Wright. Mills. Moran. Held out there by Blake. Holmes. Plenty of heads to find. Corner. Met strongly by Vanden Hauw. And the final whistle is blown, and the players get off the field as quickly as they can. And Ron Saunders goes away in chase of them, his team having produced 5 wins in their last 6 matches and saved themselves quite comprehensively from a fate which seemed almost certain a month ago.
Well, perhaps congratulations are in order to both sides there. Ron Saunders and Birmingham City for a spirited finish to the season, and Laurie McMenemy and Southampton for giving their fans a run for their money after an unhappy beginning. And while all that was taking place, it was apparent that the real drama of the day was to be at Main Road, Manchester. It had to be a fight to the death, as commentator John Motson explains.
It's do or die at Main Road today. Manchester City's loyal supporters know that a draw will be enough to preserve the First Division status that they've enjoyed for 17 years. While the Luton fans know their team must go for a win. They remember it was against City that Luton's last First Division campaign ended 8 years ago. And indeed, it was Dennis Tuart who got City's goal that day in a 1-1 draw. Tuart keeps his place today as John Benson retains the side which won at Brighton. Steve Kinsey is substitute, and captain Paul Power makes his 250th league appearance. Indeed, he's one of 7 players in the side who took part in the FA Cup final replay against Spurs exactly 2 years ago. How times change. And David Pleat, meantime, calls this Luton's Cup final. He has Paul Elliott back in defence after suspension, and he banks on a midfield of Hill, Horton and Donaghy, which did well when Luton beat City in December. With David Moss still injured, Pleat takes a gamble on Brian Steen, who has started only 1 league match in the last 5 months and whose foot injury has restricted him to 19 First Division games, in which he has claimed 15 goals. What a tense day for the 2 managers. David Pleat there, the Luton town boss, shaking hands with his opposite number, John Benson. What a nice touch when both men, and indeed possibly their futures, are balanced on a knife edge. And the referee on a day when there's so much at stake is Arnold Challoner of Maltby in South Yorkshire. Luton to kick off in the orange shirts. A week ago, they didn't believe it was possible for them to find themselves in this position. Whereas City in blue, with Asa Hartford on the ball, have been told that lots of futures could depend on their result here today. Here's Ray Ranson. And Godden came to meet Dennis Tuart and took it very cleanly. A test there as Ranson crossed for the goalkeeper on loan as Tuart challenged him. McDonald. It was a header by Stevens. What a good one it was too. Donaghy on to Aylott. Aylott to Steen. Horton. Steen. Oh, he went rather nicely round Power, and they're all up there. And now Donaghy and Aylott are going to be a problem in the air. Donaghy took them away, and Aylott supporting him. Header was by Donaghy. Turner intercepting from Baker, who got back. That was Bond, and then it was Tuart. But Aylott for Luton. Hill is to his left. Good tackle by McDonald, finds Power. He has Tommy Caton coming up outside him, and there are 4 the other way now for City. Bond in early, Reeves. Stevens. And Steen's made a run, so has Reed there to cover. And John Benson with the grey hair, arms folded. Goodness knows how he must feel today. Aylott did well. Forced a corner. Was played short, intending to find Goodyear. Here's Stevens. They're still all forward though, Luton. Steen is up there. So too was Donaghy. Aylott's in. Oh, and a great save by Williams, but the referee had already pointed the other way. There was an infringement there by Aylott, but the young goalkeeper reacting just in case, as he had to do. Walsh, Donaghy. Caught him, but play on to the referee. A good advantage played. Stevens put the ball in. Williams came superbly to meet Aylott. And the 2 players who were involved in the midfield collision are both hurt. That's Paul Power for Manchester City, their captain. And for Luton, Mal Donaghy. Baker now for City. Reeves over on the right is unmarked. And Godden happy to see that ball drop over. No more so than the Luton bench, and indeed City, because 2 players require attention. Now Alex Williams came there for what, by any standards on a day like this, was a testing ball for a goalkeeper, but he responded well against the challenge of Aylott. Both players back on their feet, but Power is limping. It's a good ball to Hill. Aylott is there too. And so now is Stevens. Aylott's coming in with Tommy Caton marking him successfully, and Tuart. That's a good ball to Bond. And that might be for Reeves. What a superb switch-in play by City, but is there anybody with the legs to get up front? Tuart's trying. Reeves had to hold on. There was nobody in the centre when he wanted to cross the ball first off. Power. There are now McDonald. And Tuart starts another run. And the legs of Goodyear there for Luton. In goes Reed. Reeves. Baker. Power. And the crowd get behind City. McDonald, no good. Well, that was a delightful move by Manchester City. Dennis Tuart played the first ball across the midfield to Kevin Bond, and he released a beauty into the path of Kevin Reeves. there's not much between the two sides in the league table, and there's not much between them on the pitch this afternoon so far. Reeves, there might be now. A long ball delivered by Nicky Reed, getting Kevin Reeves in behind the Luton defence. The angle was never very good for him, but it was a good attempt. Well, we're no further forward in a sense than we were at the start. The first half in which the team shared the play generally, although City came very strong in the last 10 minutes. And the half-time score, if it was to be the full-time score, would favour them and not Luton. So City start the second half. Playing now from the left, here's Baker. City have conceded in the First Division 69 goals this season, and Luton 84. A lot. Horton for Luton. Steen, now has he got the ability to turn? Walsh, same could be asked of him. Couldn't get past Ransom. Donaghy. A-Lot, Horton, wide it'll go to Stevens. Driven low, oh, it came off Bond! Corner. Well, what an awful day it would be to concede an own goal. Donaghy with the header, and the turn by Walsh, and a fine save by Williams. But it's back in again, offside. Well, Donaghy won the header from the corner, and Walsh had the chance to spin and shoot, and Alex Williams makes the sort of important save that we saw from him last week against Brighton and Jimmy Case. Certain now that Luton are going to use their substitute. They're going to bring off Wayne Turner and replace him with Radi Antish. Turner, more of a defender, Antish, who is able, with his extravagant skills, to occasionally conjure something in the way of a telling pass or shot.
Come on, keep it going! Come on, ready!
Forward by Goodyear. That's Steen with Reed, halfway through the second half. Manchester City 0, Luton 0. Reed for City to Power. And the main road roar rises again as City have three waiting in the centre for a cross. One of them is Baker. Trying to get by Donaghy. And it was Donaghy who was penalised. Free kick to City. To take. Oh, Caton got the header back in. McDonald couldn't finish it. Godden's initial clearance wasn't quite good enough. Caton headed it back in, but McDonald couldn't get there. And they're still lined up in the penalty area. Bond. Reeves is there. McDonald. Stewart! Fine save by Tony Godden. Desperate stuff. To be. And the City fans giving the team the sort of backing that Chairman Peter Swales appealed for. It could make so much difference for them as they press strongly. Hartford with the corner. McDonald's up again, flag's up, the flag's up, and the referee has spotted there was a little bit of pushing. But when those corners and free kicks come in, Bobby McDonald He's not the tallest player in the world, but he's always a threat. Just look at the animated gestures now on the Luton bench. David Pleat must feel that they were slightly fortunate to survive the last couple of minutes. John Sheridan smokes his pipe. But Tony Godden there, maybe not altogether orthodox and not altogether convincing the first time, but he certainly made two very important saves. Are playing their part for City, but Luton have still got something left. Donaghy. Aylott is calling and making a run. Here's Horton. Wide of him is Kirk Stevens. That's his effort. Oh, it's come off Reed on the crossbar. Could you believe that? Driven back in by Stevens, and Steen couldn't get there. It's a corner to Luton. Now suddenly the emphasis switches. One moment it was the Luton goal that was under siege. Now it's City as Antiche prepares to take the corner. Not a very good one by his standards. Well, City there know just how lucky they were to survive. Nicky Reid will have nightmares about that moment, but nothing like as many times as he would have done if the ball had gone in. Hartford. Baker is coming in from this side. It's still Hartford. And it's still Hartford. Oh, he's beaten them all. And he's backheeled it. And Power kills one for Chewett. Terrific run by Asa Hartford. That's what you need from your experienced players in a match like this. The back heel set Power up. There was a man on the line, so Chewett couldn't have been offside. Walsh. And Luton aren't finished by any means. Was Ransom fouled by Walsh? Linesman and referees say no. Luton have a corner. Just over 6 minutes to go. And Donaghy is at the back, and Caton clears. Again, City felt they might have had a free kick. Again, the referee ignored the appeals. Donaghy is up again. He's so dangerous. Aylott's there. Can he get his shot in? He can't. What a scramble, and Reeves glad to get the ball away. Defenders had no idea for a minute where it was. Aylott just couldn't get his shot in. And Luton, as they have to do, are pushing everybody up. They've got to leave gaps now at the back. Goodyear looking for Aylott. Elliott is forward. So is Ricky Hill. Tommy Caton with the clearance. 5 minutes left, and Horton's pass intercepted by Baker. And he didn't get a good touch on the ball. Aylott got it instead. Steen drove it low against Caton. And Steen again. And he gets the cross in. And Williams has come. Antiche! Oh, it's there! They've done it! Ruddy Antiche! 4 minutes from the end. David Pleat off the bench. He knows there's still 4 minutes to go. They surely mustn't let the celebrations go on too long. But as the ball was cleared, Ruddy Antiche, the substitute, drove it through a crowd of players and has Luton's life in the harsh world of the English First Division been saved by a Yugoslav. City now are going to make a substitution. Baker goes off and Kinsey comes on. The cleanest shot of the afternoon registers the goal that may keep Luton up and send City down. And if it does, they'll call it the most inspired substitution of the season. Hartford. And now the excitement switches to the other end. Williams couldn't do anything about it, and when it came out, Antish's shot, it arrowed through a crowd of players, and the men on the line couldn't keep it out. City now are on the rack as Horton takes the free kick for Walsh, and City let him go. And Peter Swales holds his head. His club are only a couple of minutes away from Division 2. It's just a question of whether Luton can hang on or whether City can salvage something at the 11th hour of this 42-match season. The crowd are doing all they can to help. Reeves, power, it's awkward. But Donaghy jumped with Chewett and Reed. And now it's Ransom. And Reeves is coming in on the cross, it's down to Godden. Corner. John Benson on the City bench could surely hardly bear to watch, but I shouldn't think David Pleat can either. City have a corner in the last minute. And McDonald with Godden, and Kinsey! The referee's pointing the other way. He's penalised a City player. But just for a minute, their substitute almost did for City what Antish did for Luton, but the whistle had gone. The crowd is 42,000, which is some attendance, the second best of the season at Main Road, but are they watching City go down? Hill. Brian Horton had to put his foot in. Antish, oh, what a bad ball, but there was an offside anyway against Steen. And Kirk Stevens trying to hang on. Oh, dear me. Well, desperation isn't a strong enough word at the moment. We are in stoppage time, and Luton lead 1-0 and look like keeping their place in the First Division, and City look like being relegated. And the header out was by Aylott, which is just insurance really, because they'll be asking the referee, Luton, how much longer he's going to add on. Forward by Caton. Bond, Kinsey. And that's it! Luton Town have survived! David Pleat on the pitch. He's kept them up. What an amazing act of escapology here by Luton. But as they celebrate, Manchester City, one of the most accomplished clubs of a few years ago, are relegated. They go down before their own supporters to a goal by Radi Antish, the Yugoslav whose future at Luton has been in doubt all season, whose contribution has been fitful at times, but who has scored a goal which has made history for his club. What an amazing match for David Pleat. The goal came in the 86th minute. His team were 4 minutes and a bit of stoppage time away from relegation. City were that close to survival. And Antish scored the goal, which keeps Luton up for another year at least, gives them some breathing space, delights their fans, will please many people in football for the spirit in which they've played this season. But you have to feel sorry on a day like this for Manchester City, whose 17-year unbroken run in the First Division has come to an end on their own Main Road ground.
I'm sure many of us do feel sorry for City. They couldn't have tried harder in that game, but if it's any consolation to them, in their 17 years at the top, 15 of the clubs in next season's First Division have gone down in that time, including Manchester United, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and Spurs. And it hasn't been the end of the world for them. They've all bounced back to greater glories. And Chairman Peter Swales is the man under pressure, and there were minor demonstrations afterwards. But it will be good to see all that energy harnessed and used positively to recreate better days. But it was Luton's day. Like a cup final, perhaps more so. They've won admirers this season for their enterprising and attractive style, though hardly enough points. But finally they triumphed, and John Motson conducted the celebrations.
Well, it's normally a cup final day when we get a team together like this, but I think, Brian, for Luton Town, Brian, this was a cup final, wasn't it?
It certainly was, John, yeah, and I think more than a cup final, because for next season, some of the younger lads, it's going to be tremendous for them to stay in the First Division. It's the only place to play, John, really, and I'm really pleased for them.
Now, Kirk, there must have been a feeling with, what, 86 minutes gone, that the game was up and that 0-0 was going to send you down?
No, the lads were confident that I'd pop up and do a bit for them. And then I had to leave it with Raddy.
Well, let's speak to the man that scored. Raddy, when you went on, what did David Pleat say to you?
Well, he knows what I have to do. My only mind was score winner. And the day I do, yeah.
Let's have a word with Brian Steen, who actually laid the goal on. Brian, your first, only one league match for 5 months before today. How much of a gamble was it that you played at all?
Well, it's a big risk, and the physio decided to take the risk in the end. It was me and Mossy injured. And now it's just, I had a painkiller in it before the game, but now it's murder, really, like, you know. But I'm just glad I come through it okay.
And what about the cross that led to the goal?
Well, I got 2 bites at it, and I think the left back just sold himself, and it just gave me enough room to put the cross over.
It's difficult to reflect on a game like that, but how did you feel, with 5 minutes to go and 0-0?
I think sometimes, John, the most inspired thing you can do on the bench is hope. And I was hoping and praying. And I think at the end of the day, the lads have been smiled upon. But I do believe they deserve to be smiled upon, because I think that this season they've gone into the First Division. Many of them young players. You know, only Brian Horton has played regularly in the First Division before. And for the other players to go in the First Division and try to take the game to other teams. And in the process, we've suffered. We've had some horrible results. We've had some horrible home results. But at the end of the day, they've come through it. And if there's justice, I just feel sad that it happened to be a game which was so crucial to 2 teams, so the other team has to go. Maybe they would have been just as sad for us. I would have rather, if we won here, we put someone else down elsewhere. But I just feel that every player has worked hard. Why I'm popular, I'll tell you that, because in training they put the ball through my legs regularly, and it's easy for them, and I think that's good.
Well, I think the one thing that is certain, David, is that when they put it through your legs next season, it'll still be as a First Division club. Congratulations to you and to all the squad, those that didn't play today as well. We look forward to seeing you in the First Division again next season.
David Pleat wiping away a tear and commanding respect for his use of words as well as the way his team plays. Well, while interest centred on the bottom of the table in England, all eyes were on the top in Scotland. It has to be good news when other clubs make it unnecessary for Rangers and Celtic to enlarge their trophy cabinets. Aberdeen magnificently won the Cup Winners' Cup, and now it was Dundee United's turn to pit them and Celtic for the championship. Your commentator, Archie McPherson.
Milne wriggles clear, might just get the chip, and he does. He's scored. Oh, what a great goal. That is the dream start United prayed for. How the prayers were answered. There's Sturrogan, near he goes down, penalty kick. Referee had no hesitation. That was a strong driving run forward by David Neri. And down he went. Bannon against Kelly. He saved it. That's it, though. The second. Not the tidiest goal him and Bannon's ever scored, but I doubt if there's been one more meaningful than that. 2-0 up, 12 minutes gone, and I think they should be getting the champagne out of the ice. Kirkwood judged it well, and Sturrock, I'll tell you what, if he hadn't slipped, he was onto that. Dodds, there's Bannon, will he get it just? And there's Dodds, it's over. Is it? Oh, what a miss. Fraser. Up come the blue shots, there's Sinclair trying to get in. Ferguson, he's done it. 2-1. Eamon Bannon to take the free kick. I'd make him about 30 yards out of goal. Oh, it wasn't far away. That's how well he strikes him. Still 2-1. The championship is on. If it is possible, I have my eyes on the referee. It's gone. That's it. The finish. United have done it for the first time in their history. The Scottish Premier Division champions, and there is a man who walked out of Dens Park 12.5 years ago, and a bit disappointed in one of his supporters there, I think, telling him to get off. 12.5 years ago, out of Dens Park, where he was coached down the road, and totally transformed the face of football in this city, and making Dundee, at least for this afternoon, the footballing capital of Scotland. And I must say, I don't think I've seen scenes like this in Dundee before. A jam-packed crowd, thousands outside, and there's a man. Is he going to smile? Come on, Jim, give us a smile. He's done it. Well, it's a half smile. I'm not sure if he got a local anaesthetic for that, but he did say he'd promise to give us a smile this week, and he's done it.
What wonderful scenes there, but it was crowd reaction of a different sort which has led to a most dramatic end to the season. I refer to the crowd invasion at Derby, which Fulham claim robbed them of a chance of winning promotion to Division 1. That match, according to referee Ray Chadwick, ended 1 minute 18 seconds early when the crowd invaded the pitch, with Derby winning 1-0. Today, Fulham manager Malcolm MacDonald insisted that the match should be replayed, and tomorrow at 2 o'clock a Football League Commission will meet at their Lytham St Anne's headquarters to consider just that, whether the result should stand or whether to order a replay. When I spoke to Malcolm MacDonald today, he told me, after Derby had scored with 14 minutes to go, we were not given a reasonable chance to do anything about it. The crowd were constantly encroaching. If the Football League allow the result to stand, they will be opening the floodgates for mob rule to decide results of major issues. I feel sympathy for Leicester manager Gordon Milne, but the game simply did not complete 90 minutes. So Gordon Milne and his Leicester team, who thought they'd clinch promotion to the First Division by finishing a point ahead of Fulham, must now sweat on a decision. The club issued this statement: "As far as we're concerned, we are promoted. Anything to the contrary will be the decision of the management committee." Gordon Milne's personal view: "The only point I would make is it right to replay 90 minutes when only 1 minute and 18 seconds was left. The league must use common sense and discuss the possibility of Fulham scoring 2 goals in that time, because it needed 2 goals to change the issue." Well, that was Bobby Gould there. Well, what a dramatic situation, and if you're looking for any guidelines, how about these? Notts County 2-1 down against Manchester United yesterday with 2 minutes to go, came back to win 3-2. And in 1974, in the FA Cup, Newcastle beat Nottingham Forest 4-3, but because of a pitch invasion when Forest were leading 3-1, the FA made the match void and ordered a replay on a neutral ground. Newcastle won 1-0, the scorer, a certain Malcolm MacDonald. One final point about yesterday's pitch invasion at Derby: the club have told us that it was the police who, with 10 minutes to go, ordered stewards to open gates and allow supporters onto the edge of the pitch. And while we await the outcome of that delicate matter, the only other league issue yet to be settled is at the bottom of Division 2, where the third relegation place is between Crystal Palace and Burnley, who meet at Selhurst Park on Tuesday evening. A draw will keep Palace up. There are several other important meetings coming up. Bobby Gould, who was relieved of his duties as Bristol Rovers manager before yesterday's home game with Cardiff, meets Coventry chairman Ian Jamieson tomorrow to discuss the manager's position vacated by Dave Sexton, who lost his job before Coventry's last game of the season against West Ham. On the transfer front, Everton's England under-21 star Steve McMahon is the target for Aston Villa. Discussions have already begun, but Villa face strong opposition in the shape of Liverpool. The High Court hearing, which decides whether Steve Foster will lead Brighton out against Manchester United in next Saturday's FA Cup final, is tomorrow. And it's interesting that the club are confident enough to include him in the final programme in his normal number 5 position. As for the United team, it's likely to be as per programme except for the number 11 and substitute positions. Steve Coppell is injured, remember, and Remy Moses suspended. So that number 11 shirt will go to one of the following: Ashley Grimes, Welsh under-21 international Alan Davis, or Laurie Cunningham. Finally, an important result just in from the European Youth Championship. England have beaten Scotland, the current holders, 4-2 at Birmingham after leading 4-0. Graham Taylor obviously passing on good habits there.
Well, now it's your last chance to enter the Goal of the Season competition. I'll tell you how in a moment, but first, here are the 12 goals from which you have to select your favourites in 1, 2, 3 order. Starting with goal A, scored by Danny Thomas for Coventry City against Ipswich Town. No build-up, but a little dribble and a venomous shot.
Thompson far side. Thomas, Burley for Ipswich. Thomas again. Still Danny Thomas. Oh, I say, what a shot and what a goal!
Goal B, scored by Soren Lerby for Ajax against Celtic. A clinical move with a very neat ending.
Neat 1-2, away goes Olsen. Look at the pace of him, driving forward. That was highly skilled play. Outside of the foot past there, Cruyff, a brilliant ball. Oh, what a goal!
Goal C, scored by Gordon Davis for Fulham at Newcastle. Teamwork at the highest level and a precise finish.
Houghton was coming through, Wilson turned it on, here's Gordon Davis. Well, what a good finish.
Goal D, scored by Danny Wallace for Southampton at Luton. A solo effort with an unstoppable shot.
Wallace. Oh, Danny Wallace! What a tremendous goal!
Goal E, scored by Kenny Dalglish for Scotland against Belgium. Created by a magic dribble, just like the old days.
Looking to knock it forward. Picks out Dalglish and a marvellous turn inside the defender. Steps around another. Oh, and into the top corner. A stunning individual goal by Kenny Dalglish.
Goal F, scored by Ian Rush for Liverpool against Watford, illustrating Liverpool's power, passing ability and direct style.
Neil's clearance to Dalglish. Beautiful turn. Oh, and on for Rush, got a perfect through ball. And what a brilliant goal!
Goal G, scored by Steve Coppell for Manchester United against Aston Villa. A neat build-up and a shot to remember.
Whiteside, oh, what a good turn. Oh, he left him in his wake there, Stapleton. And can Coppell drive one? What a goal!
Goal H, scored by Mark Waters for Aston Villa at Northampton. Perfect control and silky elegance make it look easy.
4 Villa players in the area. Here's Walters. Oh, it's a lovely turn. Oh, what a beautiful goal.
Goal I, scored by Graham Souness for Liverpool at Luton. An invitation to score, followed by a perfect strike.
Souness. And again Souness! What a goal!
Goal J, scored by Ronnie Whelan, also for Liverpool against Manchester United. Cheeky, confident and precise.
Shot struck Macari. Kennedy. Whelan. And again, Whelan's scored it! Brilliant goal!
Goal K, scored by Charlie Nicholas for Scotland against Switzerland. A good move, a fine pass and an extraordinary ending.
suddenly a lot of line lambs have turned into lions. Away goes Nicholas. He's done it! Oh, brilliantly! Oh, what a goal!
Goal L scored by Norman Whiteside for Manchester United against Arsenal. A perfect invitation to score, accepted with relish.
Augustin. Oh, Grimes is onside, and so is Whiteside here. Oh, I say! It's amazing!
Well, here's a check on those goals. Goal A, Danny Thomas. B, Soren Lerby. C, Gordon Davis. D, Danny Wallace. E, Kenny Dalglish. F, Ian Rush. G, Steve Coppell. H, Mark Walters. I, Graham Souness. J, Ronnie Whelan. K, Charlie Nicholas. And L, Norman Whiteside. And when you've made up your mind, you send your entry on postcards only, please, with your name and address on the left-hand side and your selections in 1, 2, 3 order on the right-hand side. And you address the postcard to Goal of the Season, BBC Television, London, W12 8QT. That's Goal of the Season, BBC Television, London, W12 8QT. And there's £300 of the premium bonds waiting for the winner of that competition, plus the glory, of course. And the winner will be announced in our Cup Final Grandstand next Saturday, which begins at 11 o'clock. And for those of you who feel that goalkeepers are left out in the cold, there'll be a Save of the Season competition in that programme, as well as Sporting Choice. That's your chance to dial a cup final. And there's also a special edition of Question of Sport conducted by your host for the day, David Coleman, and we fly in on Brighton's helicopter to Wembley. Match coverage begins at 3 p.m. Should be quite a day. Well, this is my last chance to say thanks for viewing throughout the season and for your interest and letters, one of which expressed what we know many ladies feel about Match of the Day. It came from Elena Humphreys of Ormskirk and went like this. I've never been an avid fan of football, though Sunday's always been a favourite day. But Sunday afternoon is always blighted by channel switch to view Match of the Day. I grit my teeth and try to make no comment, for being a wet blanket doesn't pay. But in all truth, I really do despise it, the programme that they call Match of the Day. Last week, I tried to offer competition. I bought myself a sexy negligee. But I just sat in splendid isolation. There's no way I could beat Match of the Day. I've heard it might be coming off the telly. I'll jump around the room and shout, hooray! But when I see the sad face of my husband, I think I would retain Match of the Day. Well, Elaine, all of us who work on the programme are with you in that thought, and we'll do our best not to let the ladies or the gentlemen down. And from Bob and me and all the better-looking people you don't see behind the scenes, thank you very much, and let's allow an emotional David Pleat and his team to have the last word. Good afternoon.
We have tried to play attacking football. We have, in the process, learned many hard lessons. And I would have been so sad and upset if we'd have gone out the First Division.
Steen again, and he gets the cross in, and Williams has come, and Tish!
You've seen it again. What do you think now?
Oh, it's marvellous.
As the election campaign gets underway, here's David Dimbleby.
The next 4 weeks will see constant claim and counterclaim